Hello, my name is Michaela, and I'm a knitter, a wife, and a mom from British Columbia, Canada, and this is Galanthus Knits. Hi, welcome back. This is my second podcast episode ever, and I wanted to just dive in and talk about some of the baby knits that I've done for my daughter. So I have one daughter, one child, and she was born this past summer in July. It is February, the end of February now, and I did a lot of knitting for her while I was pregnant, while she was newborn, and also before I became pregnant, because my husband and I were going to start trying for a baby. So I wanted to be prepared. I wanted to do little knits, and I was doing a lot of traveling the summer before she was born. So I took a lot of small projects with me on the go. So I'm going to go through those. I have them all in bins here. There may have been a few little things left out. I know for sure one is the bonnet that she is currently wearing. My husband has her out on a walk, and that was a truck. My husband has her out on a walk, and she is wearing one of the bonnets I've made her. So I may insert a picture there, or I may just leave it out because there's so much stuff to go through anyhow that it doesn't even really matter. I think I will begin with something that I made for her before she was even conceived. And that is the Seaside Set by PetitKnit. So, and the matching little trousers. So I made these summer 2022, and I made them in Sandra's Garden Sunday. I think this is Croissant, the color Croissant, and then Croissant paired with one of their whites, not completely sure which one. And it's gender neutral because, you know, didn't know if I was going to get pregnant, didn't know what gender the baby was going to be. And then if I didn't end up getting pregnant and wanted to give these away to a baby, it could be for any baby. So I made a lot of the stuff actually gender neutral because we weren't even sure about her, whether she was going to be a boy or a girl, even when I was pregnant. So yeah, there's a lot of gender neutral stuff in here. But anyhow, I love the way that this turned out. She's actually outgrown it now. So I made size 2 to 4 months, I think. And yeah, I made them while backpacking. So this sweater was made while I was in the Alsace region of France, backpacking with my husband, my sister, and our friend. And then these little trousers with the elastic band were made when I was in Austria and Switzerland with my husband and then another one of our friends. So yeah, when I see these, I really think about those trips, and I love that. I love knitting on the go. I love knitting on the road, but I usually take those smaller projects instead of like a big sweater's quantity of yarn, adult sized sweater. So baby knits are perfect for that. Hats, mitts, socks, whatever, perfect for that. But I really enjoyed the baby knits. So the little Seaside Set by PetitKnit, which she's outgrown now, sadly. Okay, this is one of my favorite bonnets that I've ever made for her. And I paired the leftover of the Sunday with a drops alpaca, but I'm not sure which colorway I paired it with. That's going to be a lot of the theme of this, is I'm not sure which one it was. I wasn't very good at keeping my notes until recently. So anyhow, this bonnet, it's heavily modified. I used the pattern for the Rigmor's bonnet by PetitKnit, but I wanted to do this motif because I was on Pinterest a while back and I saw a bonnet that looked exactly like this and I could not find the pattern for it anywhere. So I did some testing, some just like swatch testing to see how, I mean, I knew that I just needed to do stockinette and then, garter, but I didn't know how I was going to make those turn the way that they did. So I just did a swatch, and I think it was the third try, I figured out what it was. And yeah, so I used the stitch count and the sizing and everything like that from the Rigmor's bonnet, but then I did my own motif. And I really love the way it turned out, and it looked, she's grown out of it. It looked beautiful on her. Precious. I love baby bonnets. I love them so much. Yeah, I know a lot of people unsure about baby bonnets, like they're old fashioned, they're not in style anymore, but they stay on baby's head and they keep the baby warm. And I've had like toques, like woolly hats, toques, we call them toques in Canada, for babies, and they just, you know, they slide off her head, they just pop up and they fall off, or she rips them off now. So bonnets, I love them. And she doesn't mind wearing them at all. She doesn't mind the tie. She doesn't like putting them on. She's a bit fussy about, but she's fussy about putting most things on right now. But I love it on her. So bonnets, I've got a lot of bonnets. Okay, moving on. I have talked about this in the past video, so I'll just briefly mention it. Little Dahlia cardigan, beautiful, matches my big Dahlia. I mentioned it in my previous video, which was my first ever video. So you can go back and watch that. Okay, I have a few, yes, I think there's 3, but maybe I forgot one. I'm not sure where it went, but there are 3 of these little sister rompers by PetitKnit. I've made 3 of them. I don't know where the other one went off to, but yes, this one is in a cotton that I got at Søstrene, a Danish store, which we don't have in Canada, unfortunately, but we had one in the town that I used to live in the UK. So it's a cotton, it's Søstrene cotton yarn. I made this one also whilst backpacking in Switzerland. And this one is, I think, Drops Cotton Merino, I believe. Yes, another one. And then I had one more that was gray. This is like a grayish, this is a brown, and then there was an actual gray one, this small size. I don't know where it is. I'm not sure where it went, but that one was definitely in Drops Baby Merino. So I didn't love putting these on her, to be honest. They're cute, they're really quick to knit up, but I didn't really know how to pair it with things. Like, she was born in July, so she wasn't really wearing, I don't know, I felt weird about putting them on her. Maybe they are quite a summer knit, but I didn't gravitate towards them, so I don't think I would ever knit these again if I had another baby or if I was gifting to babies. The nice thing about them is, though, that they have the buttons on the bottom that you can change diapers easily. That is something really nice about that pattern. Okay. Along the lines of the Little Dahlia, I attempted to knit up the Little Dahlia romper for my daughter, and I lost the game of yarn chicken. So I have a Little Dahlia shirt. So it doesn't have a bottom piece, which is fine. On the back, there's a little button. Yes. Okay, I do like this, but shirts on babies, they ride up constantly. So it is frustrating to put this on her. This is actually still a little bit too big for the size that she is now. So I feel like it's going to be more of like, we're at the end of February now, April, May, she'll fit into it a bit better. It makes her look super buff for some reason. Like the motifs really like pop out on her shoulders. So it's kind of silly. Like, it looks funny, but in a cute way, I want to say. I don't know. I like it, but I do wish that I had not lost my game. You know what I would have done, actually? If I had known that it would have turned out this big, I would have tried to make it in a smaller size. I think this was the smallest size, but maybe my gauge was off. I'm not totally sure what happened. But it's massive, but I didn't have enough yarn for the bottom. So if I were to do it again, I would have tried to make it smaller and then finished it. But yeah, so, you know, not everything that you make works out. And that's 100% true for me. So there we go. Okay. Let's see. Willum's Overalls by PetitKnit. I like this pattern. It's cute. It looks cute on her, but there are no clasps or buttons on the bottom. There's no opening for changing diapers, and that is frustrating, especially because this looks so cute with a cardigan thrown over top, but if you have to change a diaper, then you have to take the cardigan off and then the overalls, and it's just too much of a faff. So I loved making this. I love when she wears it, but when I have to change her diaper, I really don't like it. So that's one thing that I didn't really anticipate before having her, that would be such an issue. Yeah, anyway, they're cute. But I did knit it in Rowan cotton yarn. And it's kind of a beigey color. This was before I knew she was a girl. But beige works anyway for both. So I do like it, but I don't like that there's no buttons. Okay, bonnets, bonnets, bonnets. This is another bonnet that I made with like scrap yarn from a different project. Not sure what it was. It's kind of a yellowy color with like red flecks in it. And this was heavily influenced by the other one that I had made. So I kind of did the same thing with this one, but instead of doing the 4 like kind of square yarn overs, I did it in the diamond pattern like it is in the Rigmor bonnet pattern. So slightly modified, slightly changed from this one, largely modified from the original pattern, but I like the way it turned out. It's too big for her right now. It's fine. It'll fit her eventually. Okay, this is one of my favorites, but I do have an issue with it. So let's talk. Isn't this so cute? Oh my gosh, I love it. This is my first attempt at embroidery, my first sort of real attempt at actually making something look decent. Oh, I love it so much. Okay, the pattern I used is the Teddy Sweater by PetitKnit, and then I decided to do something a bit funkier with the embroidery than just the teddy, yeah, the teddy bear face that goes on the sweater. So I did these sunflowers. My issue with this sweater is that the hole is not big enough for my daughter's head to go through. So I have blocked the heck out of this garment and stretched the heck out of this garment, and it just goes over her head now. So I, in the future, will not be knitting any sweaters that don't have like a button or a clasp at the top, because babies' heads are big compared to the rest of their bodies. And or I would knit the cast on extremely loose, probably up a needle size. I don't know. Yeah. So disappointed with that. It does fit her. She hates putting it all over her head, but once it's on, I'm going to continue to try stretching this out so I can let her wear it as long as possible. So there's a little sprout just here on the bottom that I've put in. I love it. I love it so much. It's so sweet. It's so beautiful. And I like how feminine it is without being like pink, you know. It's beautiful. I love that one so much. Okay, this is a fun one. This little, oh, get rid of my face. Yes. This little duck. Oh, this is the Lucky Duckling, I think, by Garland. And I love knitting this up. I knit it in like an alpaca yarn that I got up in the Lake District in the UK. I stumbled upon, I was doing a hike and we hiked through this farm land, and I stumbled upon this little, there were these signs along the road saying wool this way, and I was like, oh, there's sheep everywhere in the UK. So I was like, oh, just sheep. And then there was actually like a little yarn shop, and it was this woman who breeds her own sheep and alpacas as well. And goats. She had goats as well. And I went into her shop and I bought, it was a little bit expensive, but I wanted to support her, and it was just a nice stop on the hike. So I did buy a skein of alpaca. So I used that. It's very itchy. So I used it in this, and it's got like a really nice fuzz to it. I don't know if you can really tell, but yeah, he's quite fuzzy, but it's so cute. The only thing is I did use the little like button eyes, or those click-on eyes. I'm not sure what they're called. And I wasn't thinking. I just clicked them in and then I was like, oh shoot, that's a choking hazard. So this is for my daughter, but she's not playing with it currently. She will play with it later in life. Yeah, I think I should knit more. It didn't take that long. Okay, check that out. Oh my goodness, this is gorgeous. I love this piece so much. So this is the Currant cardigan. Ooh, I forget the pattern designer's name. She's from Russia, I think. I will, you know, I'll put it on the side or whatever. I'll write it in. The Currant cardigan. I knitted it in Drops Air. This is the same colorway that I'm doing my Cumulus blouse for the Cumulus Knit Along, starting March 1st. So I just really loved this color and I thought I would do it again. But anyhow, this is how it turned out. Love it so much. This is a bottom up cardigan. So yeah, it starts at the bottom and then you do your, you know, you run these motifs and anyhow, it's beautiful. I love it. I would knit another one. It did take a little bit of concentration because I hadn't done something quite like this before. And I knitted it while I was pregnant. I think I was about 28 weeks pregnant when I knitted this. Last April, I knitted it as a sort of like pity party project because my husband went to China for a week while I was pregnant. And he left me at home in Canada. My husband is from China originally. His family immigrated here when he was 10. And so anyway, he went back to visit his grandparents and I didn't go. And I didn't want, I've gone to China with him before, but I didn't want to go pregnant because I was very, I had a lot of morning sickness even throughout my second trimester and even going into my third actually. But anyhow, I didn't want to risk taking that long trip and making myself sick. So I stayed home, but I was feeling quite sorry for myself because I was just at home sick and he was out, you know, gallivanting around his hometown and his home area. And I would have loved to go with him. But I made this as a sort of pick-me-up project and it worked like a charm. So I really enjoyed knitting this up and that's what I worked on while he was away. And I think I will knit another one for her. The thing is, I mentioned this in my last video about the little Dahlia cardigan. Baby sweaters and cardigans, for some reason, I don't know if it's my gauge or if it's the patterns, they end up so wide and not long enough. Or maybe my child is just long. I don't know. But anyways, it's too short for her now. So are the sleeves. But it still fits her around the body. So I feel like from now on, all of the sweaters and cardigans I make should just be like extended length on the sleeves and on the body. I'm not sure. If anyone else has experienced that with baby clothes, then I would love to know. So that was the Currant cardigan. Okay, next, let's go and do the Balaclava. Woohoo, Balaclava, baby Balaclava. I think this is the Everyday Balaclava by PetitKnit. I don't remember the yarn I used for it, but it was a merino. I like it, but this opening is not quite big enough for my child's head to go in. So even though there's like the split hem on the sides here, it doesn't quite, I mean, I could get it over her head, but it's not comfortable for her to be putting it on. So I don't know how I would go about changing that in the future, but I might try a different balaclava pattern for her for next winter. Knitting for Olive has one that opens up quite a bit on the sides. I don't know how to explain that, but I might try that one instead. But this one, yeah, it ended up being a bit too, I did use it for her, but it was hard to get on. So I don't use it anymore, unfortunately. There's that. Okay, I have two Pixie. Okay, I like to call them gnome hats, but the pattern is actually called the Pixie hat. Okay, so I made one for my daughter for Christmas. So this is like a deep red color. And then there was another one kind of just for general times. And this is sort of like a burnt orange color. And they sit on the head like that. It's really cute on her. This is my husband's favorite thing to put on her head. This one's too small for her now because it fit her at Christmas and now it's February. But very cute, very simple to knit up, very quick. So I've done that pattern actually for quite a few. My friends' babies as well, and toddlers. I've knitted some for toddlers as well. Okay, just a few more things to go. This is Ellen's cardigan by PetitKnit, and I love this one. I love that there are pockets. I used this, oh, actually, hold on. This romper that I showed you earlier, this bonnet, which was my favorite, and this sweater were the three baby knits that I put into a picture when I announced that I was pregnant on my social media. So these three together, and I put her in them together all at once before, and it was super cute, and I took a picture, but yeah, she's super cute in them. But she still fits this one. And I love it. I love how neutral it is. I love that it goes with everything. She wears it with dresses and rompers and just pants and whatever. And I stick things in her pocket just for fun, and she pulls them out, and yeah, it's cute. It's simple. It's, it was a bit longer to knit up than some of the other baby knits because it was a smaller gauge, I want to say. And because the pockets were just like an extra thing to do. So it's like, it's knitted into it instead of like knitted outside and then attached. So this is the, ooh, hold on. Ooh. Okay. This is what it looks like from the inside of how the pocket is done up. But I love this cardigan. I would knit it again, although it did take me a while. So I don't know if I actually will, but I would. I might, I don't know. We'll see. Okay. A pair of socks. Ooh. A pair of socks. Little red socks, little Christmas socks. Ooh, there we go. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. This is a yarn that I picked up when I was in Norway a couple of years ago, and I made these socks with them and a pair of mittens for her, but I don't know where they are. I think they're put away because they will fit her next year. They were mittens for 1 to 2 year old. So I put them away for next year, but it's in the same, yeah, same color. I love this kind of burnt reddish color. Oh, she also has a pair of mittens that I've made her for this year, which are pink, but she's wearing them right now because she's out on a walk with her daddy. So I can't show them to you, but there are 2 pairs of mittens that I've knitted for her. Yeah, socks. Okay, we are coming to the end. We've got 2 garments left. 2 items left. Carl's cardigan by PetitKnit. There's a lot of PetitKnit in here because she's got lots of nice baby patterns, but I have recently discovered a lot more pattern designers that make baby clothing. So I'll be working with them in the future. But Carl's cardigan, this is in Sandra's garn. Baby wool, alpacas, baby wool, I want to say. And I bought this yarn at Yak Knitting Shop in Brighton, England, when I was 5 weeks pregnant. Yes, I was down in London visiting a friend, and then I took a little day trip to Brighton. And there's a beautiful knitting shop in Brighton. And I bought this, and I was about to travel off to Lofoten Islands in Norway. And so I quickly picked up this yarn and downloaded the pattern onto my phone and worked on this whilst I was a passenger in our little road trip in Lofoten Islands. So yes, this sweater was partially cardigan. This cardigan was partially knitted up in the Arctic. And I love that. And it reminds me of that trip. It reminds me of the shop Yak. And it reminds me of being 5, going on 5 to 6 weeks pregnant and starting to feel morning sickness. So I have a lot of feelings attached towards this cardigan. And it fits her right now, kind of. It's a little bit big. And it's beautiful on her. I actually really love the color with her complexion. It's kind of like an orangey color. Okay, last one. And this is a special one. A very special one. So this is the Catkin bonnet by Fox and Folk, and this is going to get me emotional. This is the bonnet she wore home from the hospital. It is so tiny and so beautiful and so light and so squishy and so perfect, and just as she was wearing it. And yeah, anyway, I love it so much. And I knitted it. I think it was a baby merino. I think the brand was Serdar. Is that how you say that? Serdar. And I knitted it up in like 2 evenings when I was very pregnant, because I was like, oh, she should have something to wear on the way home from the hospital, something to protect her body and something that I have put effort and love into. And yeah, anyway, I can't say how special this is to me. I have it in a little keepsake box with some of her stuff. She grew out of it so quickly, but it was the first thing she wore on her head. And I just remember her little face in the car seat. I was sitting in the back with her, and she had this on, and she was like sleeping, but like with her eyes like tightly shut. And I was just staring at her being like, this is my baby. So anyway, yeah, very special. Very, very special. Catkin Bonnet by Fox and Folk. I think I actually greatly modified this to fit it to newborn, because I don't think they actually had newborn size in the pattern, but I really wanted her to wear it as her first little hat. So oh, it's snowing and it's sunny at the same time. Yes, that's that. Okay, that's everything. That is everything almost that I've knitted for my daughter, and some of the things I liked, some of the things I would have done differently. And yeah, I hope you enjoy this. If you have children or a baby or are expecting a baby, I want to know what sort of things you're knitting for them or have knit for them, and what sort of things you regret knitting or would have done differently, because I find those videos very interesting. I know I've watched all the baby knit ones that Bethany from Well of Knits has put out, and actually the Carl's cardigan, which I showed earlier, was very highly influenced by Bethany, because it wasn't really on my radar until she said that she wanted to knit it up, and then she did knit it up for her son Arthur, and I loved it. I loved the way that it looked. It didn't catch my eye in the actual on PetitKnit's website, and I hadn't really seen anyone really knit it because it's one of her older patterns. But when I saw Bethany knit it, I was like, this is gorgeous. So anyhow, yeah, I really like that. But I like these types of videos, and I hope you do too. And thank you for watching. This was Galanthus Knits. I'm Michaela, and I'll see you next time.